Hello people, what is going on? Challenger X coming at you here with another video on some news regarding Dofus Touch in 2024. And guys, boys, there is a lot happening. There's a lot of news dropping, and it's a little bit hard to keep up with. So a little bit of a side note here. I did get a promotion over the new year, so I've been a little bit busier than usual, and I've been doing other stuff on the side too, so it's been really hard to keep up with a lot of this stuff. There was an Come Alive, there's the beta happening, the Yop got rejiggered, this Astrub, we just had a Crossman note, and now there's news about some new servers, which is I do want to touch on specifically because this is very specific to English, and we're going to dive right in here. As announced at the Crossman note on February 9th, the new Dofus Touch servers will open their doors in early April, which is not too far off. Here's an FAQ to answer any questions you might have. Why open new servers? And I'll give my commentary at the end. We'll go through here what they have to say, folks. But you guys know me. I like to give my thoughts and opinions, but we'll leave it toward the end. Why open new servers? Dofus Touch has evolved massively over recent years in terms of user friendliness, optimization, features, and anti-cheat measures. All the starting areas have also been redesigned. We believe that the experience on new servers will be much better now, and many players will see this too when they experience more unforgettable moments. Alongside opening these servers, we'll be launching major initiatives, and this is the big part I want to talk about too here. Major initiatives to attract lots of new players. You'll be seeing, among other things, new visuals for our communications, new messages, new videos, new ads, new screenshots in the app stores and play stores, and maybe even a new app icon. So yeah, they're kind of like rebrand, maybe refresh the brand, the imagery of the game a bit, which is it needs it. We firmly believe that Dofus Touch has huge potential to exploit, and we intend to go for it. After spending the last few years laying a solid foundations, we'll be focusing in particular a new market for Dofus Touch, the English-speaking world. It sounds kind of wild. This is kind of wild. I definitely have some stuff to say about that. But not only that, we'll also be focusing on the French-speaking countries and Latin American countries and our historic fan base. The idea is Dofus Touch renewed. So yeah, they're refreshing the branding pretty much. Like our Astrub update, the new server should help us reach wider audience, since joining a server that's been around for more than 7 years is not necessarily very appealing. We also think that many of our current players would like to take on a challenge of starting a new adventure from scratch, and that those who do will have lots of fun. It's also worth noting that as of this year, we now have the ability to merge servers for Dofus Touch. Okay, I'll keep going. It will be important to make sure that every server, including the oldest ones, enough steady activity to keep the game fun for everybody. More on that later on this FAQ. As you can see, everything seems to be in place for an incredible new adventures for all of us together. Make that a little bit bigger for you guys. Here to talk about, you got to pre-register for the servers. You guys can read some details here. Registration opens March 2nd, Central. Oh, look at that. They're not even doing Paris time. This is how wild it is. Usually whenever they denote like time or dates, it's usually Paris time. And I know they're looking at Central time. 10 a.m. Central time, which is kind of like, I'm 3 hours behind. I'm Pacific. So, but I know the little small English community that there is, it tends to be more on the East Coast. There's hardly anything here I wouldn't be surprised if I'm the only West Coast Dofus Touch player. There might be some in the Midwest too, but yeah. Partly due, because I think the East Coast, I know right above obviously is Canada, and I think that side of the east side of Canada might be the French speaking side of, and that kind of trickles down. So I don't know. But if you guys want to know the details, here it is. We're aware that these hours aren't ideal for everybody, but this schedule allows us to better spread out player load and give us more wiggle room to solve potential problems. Of all of that is important to provide the best experience and stability during early hours, which are typically very wild in these types of situations. When pre-registration, excuse me, folks, a little bit too excited here. When registering, I cannot say this word. Players must include their character's genders, class nickname, class campaign. So it's very, if you guys done like the pre-setup for what's it called? Like on PC when they do like the special servers during the summer, I imagine it'll be similar to that. Does pre-registration unlock any gifts? Absolutely. So there'll be some perks there too. Will there be early access? No, everyone can access the service at the same time for free. Do you intend to merge servers? If so, when? If we do merge servers, it would happen in September. If we won't be able to do it earlier, we won't merge servers old and new. We won't merge old and new servers together. But we would merge old servers together and new servers together as needed. How many servers will there be open? Okay, so there's gonna be one French server, one Spanish server, and one English server, which is important to denote here, because the two servers that we do have where we do have like the English community, technically they're marked as international servers, meaning there's no official language intended for them. So this one specifically denotes English server, which is very important and a pretty big deal. We could possibly open more for each of these communities based on how busy they are. That's actually one of the reasons for pre-registration. Don't be surprised if the new server appears on the pre-registration page during Don't be surprised if new servers appear. Okay. So they're expecting a big turnout during this whole phase. We'll of course let you know if this happens. Isn't there a risk that existing servers will empty out? Honestly, yes, there is that risk, but maybe not as much as one might think. This is also why it was crucial for us to make servers merges possible before tackling such a project. What will the servers be called? What illustrations will they have? We'll find out about this later. Alright. Will these servers be single account servers? No, the format is tricky to implement on mobile devices because of IP addresses, among other reasons. Especially in certain countries that account for a significant portion of our player community. Never say never, of course, but these new servers won't be single account. In addition, the effect of teams might be mitigated by the transition of 4 players, which we are very happy about. Yeah, I mean, technically, not technically, Dofus Touch is kind of like a single player experience, because obviously when you run an instance of Dofus Touch on your phone or your mobile device, you're running one instance, right? When I click on the app on my iPhone, Dofus Touch, right, it opens up one window, and if I click on the icon again, it's gonna open the same window. So, but that account technically, you know, it's one. You could run one instance per device, right? That being said, you know, people tend to have multiple devices. I, for example, you know, the reason why I could run a full group of 4 is because I happen to have an iPhone, an iPad, and my old iPhone and iPads. So yeah, so making a single account server for Dofus Touch, it's pretty much impossible, because even in terms of connections, you know, your phone could be connected to, you know, your phone service, right? And then you can have your iPad connected to the Wi-Fi. So that makes it really hard to make it a single account thing. just due to the nature of how devices and mobile stuff works. So that makes sense. Will there be any else? Will there be anything else different about these servers? Not really. They'll be like the existing ones. However, some content won't be available in the first open, including Frigos Island, which will open in 3 stages over several weeks. Time bubbles will open up a little bit later, sometime in the summer. So they're gonna slowly roll out. They're gonna open up the world for these servers. The Kralov boss won't be available in the first week of April, but will be in May. Finally, Ancestral Island will be opening new servers at the same time as these old servers, namely for the first time in mid-April on the new servers. Can I buy items in my current server shop and receive them on the new server? In a nutshell, no. Since last Tuesday, some purchases are now linked to the server. For example, you can no longer buy a Shiga Cax on Oshimo and receive it on Erdegris. The shop catalog will be gradually updated like this up until the new servers open. Bonus packs and guillotines are still linked to the account. Will there be a rush rewards? Yes, and not just a few. Every player has a chance to complete certain objectives in the space of 2 months to earn brand new rewards. In addition, individual achievements will also earn rewards. For example, first level 200 on the server, first level 100 profession, and so on. You'll hear more about it. So this is all exciting news. Super cool. I love it. And let's look at the comments here. Wake me up, I must be dreaming. Oh, somebody's excited over here. A King of Chaos. Wait, I must be dreaming. Instead of merging the servers, English one specifically, you're creating a new one. All this would do is deplete the already limited player base on the server, causing thus further rift within each of the servers. Unless the plan is also to include the merged servers, to merge all English servers into one Giga server, so the population is equal to one normal server. There's a lot of server talk here. Then in such a case, it would be one old server, merging all of the old remaining English server. Okay, so this guy's pretty much saying, you know, you're splitting the English community even more, right? When you have 3 servers, the English community is spread across. What's the point, right? When the old servers are not even fooled with. So that's what this guy's saying. Please let us know what the plan is for old servers, because I for one don't want to transition. If the game is to simply kill off old servers, I'll be left with no choice to quit Dofus. And we'll talk about this a little bit more. And Canoe Chaos again with the second comment. If also worth mentioning that as of this year, we now have the ability to merge servers for Dofus Touch. It will be important for us to make sure that every server, including the oldest ones, okay? They say yes, Giga server, all English servers. The thing is, there's no English servers. I think that's the point this guy's missing here. Currently, there is no English servers, and I'll be happy. Otherwise, it'll be a sad day. Seller something here. Seller Iron Man Cell. I really love the intention of bringing new English player, but opening a new server at 5 a.m. Eastern time is kind of rough, especially if you want to English and Americans. That being said, I'll wake up and be on time. I can't say for most player. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I love the intention here. I love the intention, but let's look at the elephant in the room. Is the English community big enough to support the opening of a new server? Currently, it's a big no. And that is evident with how big the English community is within Grand Japan, and the English community is within Dodge, right? Right now, they just don't have a big English audience to justify opening a new server just for English. It sounds awesome on paper, right? Finally, a server just for English community. But there's not very many people playing Dofus Touch on the English sides of things. There just isn't. And this is very evident with the engagement the game gets from the English side of stuff. Obviously, I run a English specific Dofus Touch channel, and I could tell you offhand by looking at my own analytics, the community, it is tiny. It is tiny compared to not only Spanish community but the French community. I like to make this analogy here. You can think of the French community as a big metropolis, right? It's a big old city. You could it has everything in there. If you want to go get Chinese at 2 in the morning, you could do it. It's a big city when it comes to not a city. Let's go with it's a big metropolis, right? That's the English. That's the French community. The Spanish community is like a small city. The English community is like a little town where everybody kind of knows each other. Everybody went to the same school. There's one post office everybody goes to, right? It's small enough where everybody kind of knows each other, and that's the numbers we're talking about. But let's not take a look at my analytics either. Look at the engagement on Discord the English community gets compared to the other channels. There's very little people on there. Let's look at the forums. The forums here, these are pretty much dead on the English side of things. If we look at Dofus Touch here, look at this. 1 response, 2 response, 2, 1. Like nobody's using this thing. Nobody. This is dead. So a big problem they have is that they haven't engaged the English community enough to grow it like they have with Spanish. I don't know what it is. I talked about this at length before. There's something about this game, right? It doesn't matter if it's a good game or a bad game, right? That's totally up to you. And in this case, it doesn't matter, right? There's something about this game that just doesn't hook the Western community, the English-speaking community. There's something about it, and they've been addressing it, right, with kind of streamlining Incarnum into Albera, I forget what it was called, right? Doing a lot of quality of life updates. They literally revamp Astrop right now, which at the time of the recording of the video, I have not looked at it myself, so I don't know what kind of changes they're doing there to engage people more so they stick with the game. And when I do make the video, it'll probably be more of a long format video where I'll look at Astro critically. But yeah, currently opening a new English server, it makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. Dodge, even though technically it's not an English server, it is seen as like the English server for the game, and even that's pretty empty and it's pretty dead. Like you can't rebuke that. Grand Japan, same thing. Grand Japan might have a little bit more people due to early adopters. When people started the game, 5 years ago, they happened to land in Grand Japan, and a lot of the people who have stuck around, they're still there. But same thing. If there's like little engagement when it comes to English in Grand Japan and Dodge. That being said, though, if we go back here to this little area here, we firmly believe that Dofus Touch has huge potential to exploit, and we intend to go for it. After spending the last few years laying out foundations, we'll be focusing particularly on a new market for Dofus Touch, the English-speaking world. And I mean, that is good and all, but like I said, Dofus Touch, I see as a property, as an IP, as a brand, it's been around for, what was it, like 25 years? 25 years? And they still haven't done this. Dofus Touch has been around for 7 years. And the community has barely grown. In fact, it's been dwindling. So I don't want to get too personal, but I do work for a large corporation where I deal with, marketing teams, branding teams for hard goods here in the US and stuff like that. And this is why I feel like I could talk critically about this stuff, because, you know, it is within my work of line, right, dealing with this stuff. And the thing is, like, it doesn't matter if your game is good or not. It literally doesn't matter if your product is good or not. Do people want to engage with it at the end of the day? Do people want to spend their time or money on this product, right? If we let's look at the New York bestseller list, right? Books go in and out on bestseller lists all the time, right? It's not called New York Times best books. It's called the bestseller. Okay, you don't have to be good to engage with people, right? You just have to capture their attention, and you have to keep them there, right? Recently we saw Power World. Everybody talking about Power World, right? Power World. As soon as you look at the game, just by looking at it, the game looks insane, it looks crazy, it looks freaking off the wall. It looks fun. It looks fun, and that's why it sold like 8 million copies in like the first like 3 days, right? People got hooked on it just by looking at it. And I think Dofus fails on this front on so many levels. And this is why I've been so critical with the way Dofus Touch has been handled, and their updates and their lack of content updates, right? A lot of their updates, especially last year, were like, oh, Slaughtering Shovel went from 36 damage to 34. Like, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. And in the long term, that's not going to make people come back to the game. These little tweaks they're doing, these little, like, just like turning the knobs and just a little notch, turning the slider down, up and down, just a little notch, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if nobody is interested in your game, right? Which a lot of portion of the English community, a large portion of the English player base is not interested in Dofus at all, right? When it comes to the English side of things, I'd be shocked if anybody's heard of Dofus at all, right? This is the state the game is in regards. Give me 1 second, folks. This is the state the game is in regards to when it comes to like the English market and the English player base, right? So this is an uphill battle. Unless they get their marketing on point. Marketing and branding is going to make or break this thing, right? Show the game to people, make it look fun, make it look awesome. That's all that matters. Make it look fun, make it look awesome. Okay, all these little tweaks to spells, and pardon my French, nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit when it comes to this stuff. If I look at a Dofus Touch trailer and it makes me want to say, shit, I want to play this game. I want to go download it right now. This freaking game looks freaking awesome. That's the kind of marketing and branding they need, right? Making these characters doing cool stuff in the world, freaking kicking ass, kicking butt, freaking just doing cool shit. That's all they need to do. And like I said, I come from this world of marketing and branding, and this is why marketing and branding is such a big deal. This is why movie studios literally have a bigger budget for marketing and branding than they do for the actual movie. Think about that. If marketing and branding didn't work, why would marketing agencies spend so much money in doing so? Right? And this is, and again, I think this is where Dofus Touch falls apart. Do I think it's a good game? I think it's an amazing game, obviously. It's a fun game. But there's something about this game where people try it out and they don't stick with it. And they literally just give up. They forget about it. And it's obvious, right? Because they revamped Incarnate like twice already. Right? There's something about it where people try it and they're not interested. They're not. And this is the big hurdle they have to jump over when it comes to English side of things. Otherwise, it's muted, right? English server, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be low population eventually. You know, apparently they have the technology now. I think they always had this, right? But yeah, these servers are gonna be merged. English server, I don't think there's enough player base currently to sustain a whole freaking new server, which is nice. I'm not saying it's a good thing. Pardon me. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, right? It's nice as a new player, right? From the English side of things, I go into a server and I see English, right? You know, it's a huge put off when, again, let's run that scenario again. I'm a new player, right? I download this game in English. I go into the game and everybody's talking in Spanish. Like, what the heck? What the hell happened, right? That's a turn off there. So I really do hope they do focus on the marketing and the branding of this game. They already said they're going to kind of refresh a lot of the aspects of the game when it comes to this stuff. They talked about, let's see, where is it at? They're going to refresh the visuals, which we're already seeing. We're already seeing some of this stuff. Communications, new messages, new videos, new ads, right? Social media marketing is going to be huge. Reach out to big YouTube content creators, right? Outside of I know they've done it a little bit here and there, but again, make the game look cool, make the game look awesome, attract people with that, right? And everything will fall into place. So yeah, this is exciting. I myself don't see myself migrating. Maybe I'll check it out and stuff like that, but I know we've all known somebody, a player, right, who's kind of like always creating a new character, like sort of they're always like they seem to hit like a wall, right? And instead of like overcoming the wall, they just kind of start over. I know I've had a few friends like that where it's like they only get up to like level 80. It's like, oh, let me try a new character, but there's a point where like they never get past. So I'm sure those kind of people are gonna love this. People are looking for new experience and everything like that. I'm sure those people are excited. For me, I'm not personally, I'm not too excited for myself. Mainly because I'm more of like a one and done person. I'm not somebody who like replays games at all. So I'm excited for the people who are excited for the English server. But I really do hope they put a lot of focus into grabbing that community, because you know, it's my dream, especially with this channel. You know, this channel, you know, I do speak critically about the game, stuff like that. But the main focus on the channel was to expose it to more people, right? To make the English content, to show off the game. That's why I started off doing those tutorials. But it's been a little not discerning, but it's been a little bit disappointing with the engagement too, right? Like I know a big criticism, not a big criticism, but I've seen comments where people is like, oh, you know, you know, they like the more scripted, the more polished, the more edited videos. But for me, it just doesn't justify the engagement from the English side of things, right? It sucks when it was really disheartening. It was really disheartening when, you know, I would spend my weekends working on the video, and there'll be no comments and just like 30 views, right? It's really disheartening. They need to cultivate the English community, right? They need to cultivate content creators. I'm not just speaking for myself too, but I know, you know, get the game out there, right? Get the game exposed as being, this is a cool, fun game. Come check it out, right? And I think the one thing that Dofus Touch has going for itself is Dofus Touch should be the space where they just do crazy ass crap with the game, right? Dofus Touch should be like off the wall. Dofus Touch should be the PAL world of Dofus, right? Where stuff is just crazy. Stuff is just crazy. Stuff is freaking just out of the box, right? One of my, again, a lot of the things I do have to say about Dofus is criticism. And it is constructive criticism, because like Okay, they came out with this badges, right? The whole, are they called badges? Not badges. The not the trophies. What are they called? Here, let me find it here. Equipment. What am I thinking of? The Spellmaster seals, right? The Spellmaster seals. These things right here. Level 200 items. These things should have been freaking game changers. These things should have changed the meta so much. This thing should, like, if you put a freaking power suit on, like this should have like at least changed the way you play to some degree. But look at what they did. Not only is this thing super hard to make, not only are you expending a lot of resources, right? But this is what you get: reduce power's cooldown period by 1. How lame of an effect is this? Really, we have this crazy ass world. We have these insane characters. And this is like the best thing you could come up with design-wise. And this is where my criticism comes with, like, stop tweaking little sliders and knobs, right? Stop doing these like little increment. Like Spellmasters, this seal should have had like this crazy ass effect, right? Especially if it's taking up a Dofus slot. Like they really dropped the ball on this stuff. They really, like, these things should have been insane crazy. This thing should have like modified the way your spell works to some capacity, right? That's some, like, jump, right? If you put the jump seal on it, like, this should have transformed. Like, now jump, it does splash damage when you land and makes a freaking meteor crater on the floor, right? This should be insane. And I think Dofus Touch does have this ability to kind of deviate a lot more from the counterpart that is PC Dofus, which, you know, it is coming to the mobile space, and this is something Dofus Touch is going to be competing with too. So not only do they have to cultivate and start growing the English community, but they have to stop them from going onto Dofus, PC Dofus. So that's another battle they gotta fight too, right? Where like Dofus Touch is not in a space where it's like a complimentary experience or a must-have experience, right? It's not. So a lot of it, I do feel like it's mute, even though I appreciate the initiative and stuff like that. But like I said, like these little tweaks, like there should be supplementary updates, not like the main updates. Make these players fall in love with the characters. Make these players fall in love with the world. Create an emotional investment for these people, and you'll have a fan base, right? I've said this before on my previous videos. There's no reason Dofus shouldn't be a big property here in the West. It's a great world they have, great characters, unique, it's quirky, it's fun. It's got all these elements that should make it succeed, right? And this is what I keep driving home. You guys. And again, I haven't touched the Astra stuff yet, so I might be wrong on this. Hopefully, I'm wrong. This is they need to make questable Dofus, right? They need me care. They need to make me care about these eggs, about these dragons, about this world, right? Belladonna seems like a good setup for like the villain character you're going up against. Give me a motivation to want to like beat her up, right? Get stronger, go through the trials and tribulations of leveling up, upgrading my gear, right? To go defeat her, right? Give me those motives, right? Because right now it doesn't have any of this stuff, and because of the lack of those elements, it shows. It really shows, especially with the English side of things. And you know, I've been very vocal about it. A lot of it sounds very negative, but it's just me criticizing the game because I do want this game to be big, right? I do want it to be big to the point where say I'm somewhere in real life and it's like, oh, I see people playing Dofus Touch on their phone. It's like, oh, you can play Dofus Touch? Here, let me add you. I play too. Let me add you to my friends list, and we could play later. Like I want the game to succeed. I want the game to be huge, especially here in the U.S., right? But obviously, whatever they've done in this past 7 years, it ain't working. It ain't working. It ain't working, and it's a shame. It's a big shame. But I do hope. I hope these like rebranding, marketing efforts do pay off. And again, just make the game look awesome. That trailer they put out, oh my god, I made a video on it too. Here, let me look it up here. I know they put out a trailer, a Dofus Touch trailer, not recently, but probably like sometime last year. It was like the worst thing ever. They literally used like imagery of 2020. Is this it? Yeah, they literally used imagery of Wakfu. Epic Quest. Yeah. Show me Epic Quest, and it's just a boat on the water. Like seriously, right? This trailer was the worst thing ever. They have all the elements too. They have it just cut a really awesome trailer. But yeah, folks. Let me see. We are at 36 minutes. All right, we'll cut it off there. Like I said, I'm gonna try to cover the other news that's been coming out recently. I don't make any promises, but I'll do what I can. But yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting, but you know, I do have my reservations on it. I do hope, you know, I do hope the English server pays off and people go into it, and it's a nice healthy population. But right now I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Oh shoot. Okay, I'm just going through an earthquake right now. Alright, I gotta go.